If you're watching this late in the evening, or maybe very early in the morning, you're not alone. There's a special kind of quiet that settles in when the house is dark, the clock glows softly, and sleep just won't come back. You may have gone to bed feeling hopeful. You did everything right. You turned the lights down. You avoided the news. You tried to relax. And yet, there you are again, awake at 2:47, or 3:12, or 3:58 in the morning. Your body feels tired, but your mind won't settle. Your heart may feel just a little faster than it should. Your thoughts start drifting toward worries that seemed small during the day, and even though you know you should rest, your body feels like it's on alert. For many seniors, this isn't about stress or anxiety in the usual sense. It's not that you're thinking too much. It's often something quieter and more physical happening beneath the surface. A subtle drop in blood sugar, a nervous system that doesn't fully power down, a gentle surge of cortisol at the wrong time of night. And the frustrating part is this. You can feel it happening, but you don't know why. You might roll onto your side. You might pull the covers up. You might check the clock and tell yourself, just relax, just rest. But the more you try, the more awake you feel. That cycle, night after night, can slowly wear you down. Lack of deep, steady sleep doesn't just make you tired. It can make mornings harder. It can make your body feel heavier. It can make joints ache more. It can even affect mood, memory, and confidence. And here's what many people don't realize as they age. After 60, sleep is no longer just about the bedroom. It's about what happens hours before bedtime. It's about nourishment. It's about stability, especially in the evening. Because the body you have now, this wiser, more experienced body, processes food, minerals, and energy differently than it did decades ago. And sometimes, the difference between a restless night and a calmer, deeper sleep isn't a pill, or a supplement, or a complicated routine. Sometimes it's something far simpler, something on your dinner plate. Certain vegetables, when eaten in the evening in the right way, can gently support the nervous system. They can help steady blood sugar through the night. They can provide minerals that help muscles relax and signals quiet down. Not in a dramatic way, not overnight miracles, but in a steady, reassuring way that your body recognizes as safe. Tonight, we're going to talk slowly and clearly about evening vegetables that can support more stable sleep cycles, especially for seniors. No supplements, no extreme diets, no complicated rules, just food, timing, and understanding what your body needs now. And before we go any further, let me gently say this. This information is for educational purposes only. It's not medical advice, and it doesn't replace guidance from your healthcare provider. Everyone's body is different, especially as we age. But many people find that small, thoughtful food changes can support better rest over time. Take a breath, you're in the right place, and we're going to move at a pace that feels comfortable. I want you to know where this information comes from, and just as importantly, where it doesn't. This isn't about trends, it isn't about fads, and it isn't about pushing products. This approach comes from decades of nutritional science, sleep physiology, and real-world observations of how older bodies respond to food in the evening. As we age, our digestion slows, our insulin response changes, our nervous system becomes more sensitive to fluctuations, especially at night. Researchers have long known that minerals like magnesium and potassium play a role in muscle relaxation and nerve signaling. They've also observed that slow digesting carbohydrates can help prevent nighttime blood sugar dips that trigger stress hormones. But what often gets missed is how gently these elements need to be delivered in older adults. Too much, too fast, too late, and the system reacts. The goal here is not to force sleep. It's to create conditions where sleep feels invited. Over the years, many seniors have reported that when their evening meals include the right vegetables, prepared simply, eaten calmly, and timed well, sleep becomes less fragile, not perfect, but steadier. And that's what we're focusing on today. Let me share the story of someone we'll call Christina, a story that may feel familiar if your sleep has changed with age. Christina was 71 when nights that once felt peaceful began to feel unpredictable. Sleep hadn't been perfect throughout her life, but it had always been dependable. She went to bed around 10, woke around 6, and started most mornings feeling reasonably refreshed. Then slowly, something shifted. At first, it was once or twice a week. She'd wake up around 3 a.m. with a strange sense of alertness. Not panic, just a feeling like her body had flipped a switch. Over months, it became nearly every night. Christina began to dread evenings. She'd get tired after dinner, hopeful again, only to wake hours later feeling wide awake and strangely tense. She tried reading. She tried warm milk. She tried cutting caffeine entirely. Nothing stuck. What hurt most wasn't just the fatigue, it was the loss of confidence. "I don't recognize my body anymore," she said. "I used to trust it." She stopped making morning plans. She avoided long drives. She felt older than her years. Eventually, through gentle guidance, Christina didn't change everything at once. She didn't overhaul her diet. She changed one thing, her evenings. She learned that her usual dinner, light on vegetables, heavier on refined carbs, was causing subtle blood sugar drops hours later. Those drops triggered cortisol. Cortisol woke her up. When she began adding specific vegetables in the evening, vegetables rich in magnesium, potassium, and slow-release carbohydrates, something shifted, not overnight, but within weeks her 3 a.m. awakenings softened. Some nights they stopped altogether. What returned wasn't just sleep, it was trust. After 60, your body becomes a little like an older home. It still works beautifully, but the wiring is more sensitive. Blood sugar regulation isn't as flexible. The nervous system doesn't rebound as quickly. Stress hormones linger longer once released. Think of your body like a factory that used to run on quick adjustments. Now it prefers steady flow. When blood sugar drops too low at night, even slightly, the brain interprets it as danger. It releases cortisol and adrenaline to protect you. That's what wakes you up. Magnesium helps calm nerve firing. Potassium helps muscles and the heart relax. Slow digesting carbohydrates provide a gentle, steady fuel source through the night. Vegetables can deliver all three, quietly and safely. Many sleep solutions fail seniors not because they're ineffective in general, but because they're too aggressive for an aging nervous system. As we get older, the body becomes more sensitive to sudden pushes and pulls. What once worked quickly in midlife can feel jarring later on. And sleep, especially, does not respond well to force. Sleeping pills, for example, don't truly teach the body how to rest. They often sedate the brain, creating unconsciousness without stability. The body may be asleep, but internally, systems like blood sugar, stress hormones, and digestion can remain unsettled. This is why many seniors report grogginess, confusion, or even more awakenings once the medication wears off. Melatonin, when misused, can create a different kind of problem. Timing matters deeply with sleep hormones. Taking melatonin at the wrong dose or the wrong hour can confuse the body's internal clock, especially in older adults whose natural melatonin production is already lower and more delicate. Instead of guiding sleep, it can blur the signals. Then there's a very common belief that eating less at night automatically helps sleep. For seniors, this often backfires. Skipping dinner or eating too lightly may feel healthy, but it can quietly set the stage for nighttime blood sugar drops. When blood sugar dips too low during sleep, the brain reacts with urgency. It releases cortisol and adrenaline to protect you. That hormonal surge is what pulls you awake, often around 2 or 3 in the morning, feeling alert, tense, or uneasy for no clear reason. So the real issue isn't that seniors are doing something wrong. The issue is that many approaches try to force sleep instead of supporting the body's need for balance. Sleep after 60 isn't something you push into submission, it's something you invite. And balance, steady blood sugar, calm nerves, gentle nourishment is what allows that invitation to be accepted. The hero here isn't one magic vegetable, it's a small evening pattern. Vegetables that nourish calmly, meals that don't spike or crash, timing that respects digestion. This is food as support, not food as stimulation. When we talk about evening vegetables that support sleep, we're really talking about how specific nutrients communicate with the nervous system, not loudly, not forcefully, but gently. In a language the aging body still understands very well, leafy greens, such as spinach and Swiss chard, are especially important in the evening because they naturally contain magnesium. Magnesium is often called a calming mineral, but what that really means is that it helps nerve signals slow down. It allows muscles to release tension instead of holding on. For many seniors, low magnesium activity is linked to restless legs, shallow sleep, or that wired but tired feeling at night. When magnesium arrives through food rather than a pill, it tends to work more smoothly. The body recognizes it as nourishment, not stimulation. Vegetables like squash and carrots play a different but equally important role. They provide gentle, slow-digesting carbohydrates. These are not the sharp, fast sugars found in sweets or white bread. Instead, they release energy gradually, over several hours. That slow release helps keep blood sugar steady through the night, reducing the chance of sudden drops that can trigger cortisol and wake you up in the early morning hours. Zucchini and green beans add another layer of support. They are easy to digest, especially when cooked, and they naturally contain potassium, a mineral that helps regulate muscle function, heart rhythm, and nerve communication. Adequate potassium in the evening can help the body feel more settled and physically calm as bedtime approaches. Cooking matters here, especially after 60. When these vegetables are cooked softly, steamed, gently sautéed, or roasted until tender, they become far more senior-friendly. Soft cooking reduces digestive effort. It makes nutrients easier to absorb, and it prevents the gut from working too hard late at night, which can otherwise interfere with sleep. These vegetables don't rush digestion. They don't spike or crash blood sugar. They don't overstimulate the nervous system. Instead, they quietly send a message of safety. And when the body feels safe, sleep becomes much easier to find. When it comes to using evening vegetables to support better sleep, how you eat can be just as important as what you eat. Timing comes first. For most seniors, having dinner about 3 to 4 hours before bedtime gives the body enough time to digest comfortably without going to bed hungry or overly full. This window allows blood sugar to stabilize and digestion to slow naturally as the body prepares for rest. Next is preparation. Vegetables in the evening should be cooked gently. Steaming, light sautéing, or slow roasting until soft helps reduce digestive strain. As we age, raw or undercooked vegetables can sit heavily in the stomach, keeping the body too alert at night. Soft textures signal ease and calm. Pairing vegetables with a moderate amount of protein is also important. Protein helps slow digestion even further and supports steady blood sugar through the night. It doesn't need to be heavy. A simple, familiar portion is enough to provide balance without burden. How you eat matters more than many people realize. Eating slowly, sitting down, chewing well, and pausing between bites tells the nervous system that it's safe to relax. Rushed meals keep the body in a daytime state. Calm meals help transition into nighttime mode. If you use frozen vegetables, take a moment to read the label. Some packaged options contain added sugars or sauces that can quietly disrupt blood sugar later in the night. Choosing plain vegetables keeps the message to your body simple and steady. And finally, remember this: consistency matters more than quantity. You don't need large portions, you don't need perfection. What helps the body most is repeating the same calm pattern evening after evening. Over time, the nervous system learns what to expect, and sleep begins to feel more natural again. The body learns patterns. When evenings feel predictable and nourished, the nervous system relaxes sooner. You're teaching your body that night is safe. There are a few common mistakes that can quietly interfere with sleep in the evening, especially after 60. These are not failures. They're simply mixed signals that the body struggles to interpret at night. Eating too late is one of the most frequent issues. When a meal happens close to bedtime, digestion is still active when the body should be slowing down. The nervous system stays alert, blood flow remains focused on the gut, and true rest becomes harder to reach even if you feel physically tired. Skipping vegetables altogether creates a different problem. Without vegetables, the evening meal often lacks magnesium, potassium, and fiber. The body may feel fed, but not supported, leaving nerves slightly on edge and blood sugar less stable through the night. Overdoing refined carbohydrates, such as white bread, pastries, or sweets, can cause sharp rises and then drops in blood sugar. That drop often happens hours later, right in the middle of the night, triggering stress hormones that pull you out of sleep suddenly and unexpectedly. Undereating is another mistake that's easy to overlook. Many seniors eat lightly at night out of habit or concern, but too little food can signal scarcity to the body. When fuel runs low during sleep, the brain responds with cortisol and adrenaline to keep you alert and protected. Eating cold, raw foods in the evening can also be disruptive. Raw vegetables and chilled foods require more digestive effort. Instead of calming the system, they keep it working. Warm, cooked foods are far more soothing to an aging digestive system. And finally, expecting instant results can create frustration. The body after 60 doesn't adjust overnight. It learns patterns gradually. When changes don't work immediately, people often abandon them just before they would have begun helping. Each of these mistakes sends mixed signals, and sleep depends on clarity. When the body receives consistent, calm messages, night after night, it responds not with resistance, but with rest. This approach works especially well for seniors with light sleep, nighttime awakenings, or blood sugar sensitivity. When you begin making gentle changes to your evening meals, it's important to understand that progress unfolds gradually, and that's exactly how it should be. During the first week, many people notice subtle shifts rather than dramatic changes. Evenings may feel a little calmer. The body may settle sooner after dinner. There may be less restlessness before bed, even if sleep itself isn't perfect yet. These early signs matter. They show the nervous system is starting to feel supported. In weeks 2 to 4, something else often happens. Nighttime awakenings become less frequent or less intense. You may still wake up, but falling back asleep feels easier. The sharp, alert feeling that used to appear in the middle of the night may soften. Sleep becomes less fragile, even if it's not yet deep every night. Over the following months, the most meaningful change often isn't just sleep length, it's trust. Trust that your body will rest. Trust that waking at night doesn't mean the night is ruined. Trust that sleep can return naturally. This sense of safety allows the nervous system to relax more fully, which supports deeper, more restorative rest. And it's important to remember this: progress is gentle. There are no sudden switches, no forcing, no rushing the body. With consistency and patience, the body learns a new rhythm, and sleep begins to feel like something that comes to you rather than something you have to chase. This is not a cure, it's support. Always consult your provider if you have medical conditions. This information is educational and meant to complement, not replace, professional care. Your body isn't broken, it's asking for steadiness. Food can be a quiet form of reassurance. Evening vegetables have a remarkable, gentle way of supporting the body. They can help calm the nervous system, steady blood sugar through the night, and even reduce those unexpected cortisol spikes that often wake you up around 3 a.m. If what we've discussed here resonates with you, remember this: you don't need to change everything at once. Take it slowly. Start with just one meal, one calm, nourishing evening. See how your body responds. Rest is still possible, and with patience, the nights can begin to feel softer, steadier, and more peaceful again. If you found this helpful, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you can continue learning simple, practical ways to support restful sleep and overall well-being after 60. You deserve nights that feel restorative, and we're here to guide you gently every step of the way.